Hello folks, welcome back to Forge Rebuild Part 3, I guess. Had some video snags here. While I was going along making videos, I haven't thought to really empty my SD card because it's only been about half full. But being half full, my camera records in high definition, and it's pretty much raw on the raw setting. So it only records about a couple minutes at a time and then automatically stops to save space on the SD card. When it does this automatically, I can't change the setting. So I have to get a bigger SD card or continuously wipe out my card. So that being said, we're moving on with this. What I'm doing here is just kind of mortaring the sides to stick the top brick cable thing that I lined up in the last video to the top of the forge. And this is kind of where stuff goes wrong. You'll see here in a minute. But what I should have done was make at least a cardboard frame to go around that section of cable for the top of the forge, so it would be square. And instead of being square, it is kind of rounded, kind of rounded in shape. So as I'm tightening this down, you'll notice a little pop, and the top of the forge just kind of drops a couple of millimeters. But while I was tightening that down, what happened was the refractory cement snapped in half down the middle along the burner holes. So that's something you're going to see here in just a couple seconds. Just kind of alternating the bolts that I was tightening up just to keep the pressure equal around the whole thing so I wouldn't break it. But eventually I just kind of applied a little too much pressure and it snapped. Yeah, it's coming up right here. And then it just kind of pops. Right there. Yep. That's when it broke. So I had to redo that and make it work. Just kind of one final way I could think of to kind of redneck it together. So I took the top back off and I put a 4x4 inside the forge with a few layers of cardboard on top, just to support the cable as I'm bolting down the top and the burners and stuff, which are pretty much one piece. And so I just slapped it all together, tapped the 4x4 out, and we were pretty much good to go to put that refractory on. I used a toilet paper roll and cut it in half, the little cardboard toilet paper roll, and I put that where the burners were going to go so it wouldn't let any of the refractory into the burners themselves. So I flipped that upside down and did the old concrete pourer method and kind of just poured it in there a little bit thinner than usual, and did my thing, spreading it around, make sure it was even and flat, and it worked out really nicely. Actually, it's something that I should have done in the first place, other than just kind of making a frame for that piece and just pouring it would be the same concept either way. Regardless, the next day I went out and did my thing, mixed my refractory, did the ends, and I went and checked my recording, went to the last frame, and it caught everything except for me actually putting the refractory on. So that pissed me off. I had done both ends and didn't check, and so you don't get to see that, but I'm actually kind of proud of what I did get right here. So you see, I got that cardboard, I'm cutting it up, and I'm just going to make a sleeve to fit the inside of that forge, so I don't get any excess going over the inner edge of the refractory cement on the inside of the forge. And by the way, whether you're building a forge or repairing your forge that you have at your home, always wear gloves and a respirator when you're playing with your refractory and your KO wool, because that stuff is really not good for your lungs. You don't want to breathe any of that stuff in. So I got that all taped up, and I grabbed my gloves and get ready to do the refractory. And these gloves are one size fits most, so of course I end up popping the first one. I end up popping them or ripping them. So glad I don't use them all the time, because I'd be spending a lot of money on gloves. So we begin to mix it, and get it mixed, and this is literally where it cuts off. Right there. That's where the camera stopped. And if you're wondering what that sounded like when I found out, it sounded something like this. God damn it! So, I really was not very happy about that. And I did both ends, and none of it recorded after that point. So, that left me really ticked. So the next day I just kind of went and filmed this after I cooled off a little bit. You will have to pardon my mess on my forge stand there. And if you were curious, yes, my forge stand is an old charcoal grill. The bottom fell out one day while I was cooking. Well, after I was cooking, actually. And it just fell right out and made a big old fiery mess. So now it's a forge stand. Legs are still strong, so yeah, it works. There. Yeah, this is about it. That's pretty much the end of the video. So I hooked that up, and you can see the little, you know, even though the top is warped, the refractory does look pretty good. I think I did a pretty good job of the situation, and you know, just kind of kept it going and finished the project, even if it did end up looking kind of crappy. I fired this up and it was going good. I thought it sounded a little off, so I was fiddling with the air and, you know, making my adjustments. And eventually I slapped in I slapped in a little steel plate across the bottom brick, and that seemed to fix the problem. I think I left a little bit more space in there than originally intended, so I just filled that gap, and it ended up working pretty good. So yeah, that's it. I think this video was probably more about, you know, sticking to it and finishing a project, even though it's really not, you know, turning out the way you wanted it to. Sometimes you just have to keep going and finish that project. So that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I kind of enjoyed making it. It was kind of a pain in the ass. But you know, gotta keep with it. Keep them videos coming, even if they're not so great. They will get better in time. So, moral of the story. Alright, y'all have a good one. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and hit that like button, and hit the little bell button to get notifications when we upload a video. Y'all have a good one. Stay safe, wear your safety glasses, keep your fire extinguishers handy, tip your waitresses. Have a good one.